gentlemen, welcome to another Jacket Football Show. It is ready for the 25-26 season. Well, it's just 2025, but you can smell the football in the air. Coach, not obviously the result you wanted to get in your first game, but before we get to that, why don't we just talk a little bit about you, Matthew Bass, taking over the program. Just tell us a little bit about your history with this program, because you used to be a former player.
Sure. So, yeah, I graduated 2010 from Alvin High School. My daddy was the head coach 1998 through 2008. Grew up on the sidelines, grew up in the field house. So kind of a cool homecoming for me to be sitting in my daddy's chair and, be a part of the program in this facet now.
And when you were playing, did you ever envision this kind of to happen, something like this?
It was a childhood dream of mine to always be the head coach at Alvin High School, so it's kind of one of those things that's kind of a cool thing to unfold and have the opportunity to do.
And what's the biggest challenge, taking over a program and starting up? It seems like you're implementing a kind of a new offensive system and stuff like that. Just talk a little bit about the challenges that you have.
Right. Well, I think one of the biggest things is and I know it's cliche to say, but changing the culture, changing the mindset here of that, we have the student athletes, we have the coaches to be competitive. We just have to think that we're able to do so. And so that's kind of a good situation to be in. I also think, having our kids not be people who play football, but football players is a big thing. So talking about the importance of watching film and that fifth period athletics and after school practice is not enough if we want to be successful.
Okay, your first game, you go on the road to Bastrop, a long road trip. Is that something that you like that can kind of build the chemistry for a team, or is this almost too early in the season to start something like that?
You could play it either way, right? Obviously, if you're successful in district play and you get the opportunity to go drive 2 or 3 hours and play a playoff game, we've put that in our setup to where we've been there and done that. I personally would rather just play locally. But I think it was a good opportunity for our kids to see something different. We had the 3-hour drive. We didn't eat at our regular facility at Joe's Barbecue here in town. We had a 50-minute weather delay, so we had an expedited schedule to get on the grass and get playing. And, I thought to start the game, especially the first half, I thought we had a really good setup to start.
Okay. The score ended up being 55-14. You kind of mentioned that there were a couple of positives. You kind of came out good. Sure. And stuff like that. Just talk a little bit about some of the what happened in that game and some of the things that you kind of saw.
Well, the three things that we talk about, right, are effort, alignment, and assignment. And if we can get those three done, we have a chance to be successful. The effort's there. That's not a question. Alignment and assignment kind of messed us up in the first half. The 3 touchdowns they scored, it was a double pass trick play, right before the half. We had bad leverage at one of our corner spots, gave up a 60-yard bomb. And then the other play was we forgot our assignment. We're supposed to be in man coverage. We end up in zone. And so never did they just drive down the field slow and methodical. It was big, quick plays. I thought, we limit those things. We're in a different ballgame offensively. I think 4 out of 4 times that we had possession in the first half, we were in the red zone or right on the edge of the red zone. Had a not completed field goal at one point, went for it on 4th down and didn't get it, and then obviously punched one in. And all 4 of those drives were driven down the field. It wasn't we got some big long play and we scored. It was methodical for us, so really good to see the offense moving.
Yeah, in fact, like one of the longest plays looked like 29. But you guys got 187 passing yards, 13 of 26. It used to be more of a running game. You guys are kind of implementing the passing game. Did you see what you wanted to see in terms of implementing kind of an air attack? Because obviously the ground game wasn't there since you guys had 67 yards on the ground.
Right. Well, I think we got to do a better job of establishing the run game. But as far as the passing goes, one of the big things that you like to see is when we're on the headset and the offense coordinator saying, okay, we should do this, or here's our read, we should go here. And the quarterback is dinking and diming where it's supposed to be. I think the synergy between the offense coordinator and Anthony DeSano, father, son as well, is really good synergy. I really like the way they moved the ball. Receivers were strong hands and got up the field. And so really, really not impressed, happy, content for now.
Okay,
with their performance.
that's great to see. We'll dive into it. We're going to come right back after a break and look at the offensive plays, so we can dig a little deeper into what you saw out there and kind of how the plays developed. We'll do that right after this short break. All right, and welcome back. We're taking a look at last Friday's 55-14 loss to Bastrop on the road. We're going to begin by looking at the offensive side of the ball, where we're beginning a passing offense. So, Coach, I'm going to let you take it over and kind of steer us through some of these passing plays and offensive plays that you guys had.
Sure. So right here, we got kind of a hot route called with the running back. We're reading that outside linebacker. Okay, outside backer is occupied by the H. It's a quick and easy dump down. Canales gets off the edge and makes a really good play on us here, being physical out there in space. One of the things I talk about from time to time. Ricky Williams, my former running back coach in college, is you don't step out of bounds. That's the edge of the cliff. And so I think Marcus had a good job of fighting for every little yard we could at this point.
Yeah, definitely like to see that pass play open up like that.
Sure, yes, sir.
All right, let's take a look at the next play then. Here we go. We're up tight. Here we go. So you're going to have a lot of shotgun sets as well, obviously.
Yes,
right?
sir. I mean, I think it's pretty nice to have a 20 personnel setup where you got an H-back that can really kind of mix it in. He can go out in the flat and play some balls there, but also be someone that can mix it up in the front and block as well. Darion Cannon, sophomore, H-back for us. He's really growing into being a good player for us. As a sophomore, you always worry about having those guys start on varsity. We got a few of them, and so far I've been happy with how they're competing with juniors and seniors.
Now, when you go with kind of the passing attack and you're going the shotgun form and everything, how's that do for the running game? Because obviously you were averaging only 2 yards a carry. Is it a kind of an adjustment in terms of the blocking that is normally done?
I think that moving from a triple option offense to a more modern style offense, the front's going to be the hardest thing. Same thing with our 3-4 defense, right? Changing how we operate in the front's going to be big, and so those guys have made leaps and bounds, but we still need more from them. We got to work instead of just one type of blocking scheme. Now we got both run, our zone, stretch, things of that nature, and also work our pass sets as well. But I think that the kids are doing a good job learning it. But if we're going to be successful in the RPO scheme, we're going to have to establish a better run game.
And how much reliability is it on the legs of Anthony DeSanto as well? Does he have the option to keep it a lot as well?
He does have the option to keep it a lot, but at the same time, it's give, pull, throw, run if we need to. I think he's a pretty good decision maker most of the time.
Yeah.
And so whenever he pulls it down and goes, usually we run through the checklist beforehand.
It's always that encouraging to stay in the pocket and look for your receivers first, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Don't know what's going on here with the play. Here we go. Got it finally queued up. Here we go. Take us through, Coach. The nice
So, once again, another good H set here. We want to play press coverage, right? This is a pre-snap read. We get Perkins on the edge there. Great ball by DeSanto. Perkins goes up and catches it. Okay, and this is something that we're looking at. They want to play that technique, then we're going to test them and see if they can really press us hard.
It's a great play by the receiver to come up with that ball in a contested throw, right?
Absolutely, and he's done that in the scrimmages before, and he's actually the first touchdown we had here in 7-on-7. Same kind of setup. They pressed us. We ran down the sideline and played that. He's got really good hands.
All right, let's flash forward to the next play then. All right, what do we got here, Coach?
So same setup here. We're in a 3-man set on the front side, but now we're getting into a little H-hide action here, so it's going to be pretty interesting. Once again, we're talking about a sophomore kid that is playing pretty well. Obviously needs to continue to grow, but makes a great play here, gets up the field. Talk about that run-pass option with Anthony DeSanto, being able to dump this down in close quarters and not bullet it to him, I think really is a good deal for us.
Now, we're seeing the alignment here and stuff like that. Are you when you first start off in the first game of the season, are you going to start adding like more motions and things like that, or are you going to keep it simple for the guys? Because obviously, the more you put in, the more
Right.
confusing it gets.
I mean, obviously, you got to have a good foundation and base, but we're more. I don't like saying flavor of the week, but we do depend on what we're getting each week, and Coach Asano does a good job of trying to exploit people's weaknesses or what we believe are weaknesses. So you'll have the same base, but it may be out of different formations, different motions,
Right.
Things of that to try and stretch them in the ways that they don't like to be stretched.
Got it. Let's see if we got that play now queued up and ready to go. Here we go.
So Cannon's backside RPO, dump it down, and then the 18 gets ability to break some tackles, get up the field. Like I said, pretty athletic for a big kid, especially being 15 years old, 14 years old. He's really come along well, and at the same time, right, Anthony could have easily tucked it and ran, but let's get it to the guy that's what he's paid to do.
Did you feel that you caught Bastrop unaware of what kind of attack you guys are going to do? Seems like they were focused on the run, and you guys bust out the pass.
That's the beauty of the RPO is just in the same sense with the triple option that you have to have every part taken care of. This is the same concept behind it all, but we're ability to put the ball down the field, so I think it's a little more lethal in that regard.
Okay, great. Let's take a look at the next play if we can. I think this is the same one, but why not look at it when it's a nice game?
Yeah, right. And the big thing with this as well is talking about establishing a run game, you also have to sell the run hard as well. And so I think that our running backs do a decent job of selling the run. Obviously, we can get better in all facets, but I think that we got to establish the run game and then sell the run game hard when it's time to pull it and go.
Well, we kind of talked about the responsibilities of the offensive line, and for our offensive player of the game, you chose one. So talk a little bit about Brooks Scott and what he kind of brought to the table.
Well, Coach Harbaugh said he sees offensive linemen as weapons. They're the only players in the field that do not see the ball, right? They're the most selfless guys in the field, and Brooks Scott was a backup center. A series and a half in, our center goes down, he takes over, flawless snaps, aggressive up front against the Notre Dame commit at nose guard. Really, really, really impressed with how he played and continued to fight, for 4 whole quarters. With a lot of the time you think you're the second string center, you're not going to get in. He didn't skip a beat, so really, really impressed with his ability.
Especially at center, because you're calling the offensive line, blocking
Absolutely.
assignments, and then obviously that exchange and making sure that the good snap and everything. Speaking of which, you said that he's coming in to replace the other center. What's the update on him in terms of injury?
He's got a little bit of a deltoid issue. The biggest thing with deltoids, right, is it just takes time. And so we don't know if he's back this Friday, next Friday, so on and so forth.
But it seems like you're in good, capable hands.
Right. Brooks is doing everything that we want him to, and I mean, for a guy to come off the bench and be physical and consistent in his snaps like he did, we're going to be just fine.
All right, let's now jump onto the other side of the ball, the defense, and let's take a look at some of the plays there and what you kind of saw out there.
Sure. So me being a defensive coach, in my experience here, I was really impressed with our ability to be physical up front. That's one of the things that you always worry about. If we can't control the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball, we're going to have a tough night. I thought we did a decent job of that. Here we got Jaron Casas, very good trigger, extremely aggressive, pretty sure tackler, running his feet, getting a TFL, can't complain here whatsoever. Got good hands with our defensive linemen. Just an overall good setup on first down, close to the red zone.
And you mentioned that you guys have switched to a 3-4, correct?
Right. Well, and they were a 3-4 last year, but there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. And so the way that we play coverages and fronts are just slightly different, but different enough to make it confusing to get adapted to.
Okay. Let's take a look at the next play. Jump ahead and show us what we got here.
So we're actually beat with bad leverage here, but the big thing here is our corner, Tracy Goss, has the ability to make up for his mistakes. Hard player, he sticks him outside, but he lets him restack him, gets inside on the one post, which we got beat on the first play of the game on the other side, but he has that effort to get there, stab and rake, and then get the ball out, and potentially save a touchdown there. So,
And what kind of coverage are you guys implementing there? Is it kind of like a zone coverage? It seemed like the
it's
linebackers.
a zone coverage. You could get into it with the three other teams in the district that run this defense and say we don't have a zone coverage, but for in layman's term, we're match quarters.
Yeah.
It turns into man, quarter. So.
Okay, very cool. Let's take a look. It was a great pass break up there, and let's take a look at the next play.
So this is another good one. Two had gotten beat first play of the game on a post, and so trying to see his ability to rebound and play. Once again, when he's in the correct alignment and assignment, he's a really good player. Stab and rake as well. We get the help from 28, Blaine Bingham, who is a sophomore as well, came in midway through the game and was really impressive for us. And so both those guys, I think, did a really good job for us.
Yeah, it seemed like it was quick recognition of Blaine to provide the help there.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's skip ahead to the next play.
Once again, we talk about Jaron Costas and his strength and his aggressiveness. Not a bad job here. It's a great read by Jaron. Got to run his feet. But the other big thing about it is if he's not there, we're running our feet. Everybody's running the ball. A little bit of a gang tackling here, and continue to get a TFL just by making sure that one guy isn't making the tackle. We're all going to be there and swarm to the ball.
Not watching and
Right, yes,
just
sir.
reacting to the ball. You got to love that type of penetration.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at the next play then.
This is a kid that has really come on a lot. His name's Colton Meyer. He's our field side end. He's gotten better with his hands every week. Really firing off the ball for us here, and doing what you would want for a field side end, to where, hey, we're not going to let you outside. Plays a good step and extend technique on the tackle, right, and then gets him, 6-7 yard TFL.
Looks like as well in this play that the linebackers coming in on the blitz as well. Do you guys call many blitzes in the early part of the season, or is that something that kind of progresses as well?
We show our hand whenever we feel necessary, and so if we think we need to go after people, we will.
Okay, sounds good. Gotta always love that, right? All right, let's take a look at the next play. Or how about our player of the game? Instead, we talked about it. He's just a sophomore. Blaine Bingham had 5 solo tackles, a pass breakup. You gotta love that type of performance.
Yes, sir. And he actually switched positions at halftime. We had him at an outside backer position, or we had him at a safety position. Then he come out and played some outside backer for us, and he'll probably be starting at that outside backer position this week. You talk about a kid that is just hard-nosed. Obviously, his daddy's the all-time leading tackle holder here at Alvin High School. Had some great brothers come through the program as well, and so really excited to get him going. His twin brother is also JV quarterback, and his younger brother's on our freshman team.
Right,
So
and of
really-
course last year was
yeah,
his senior
right,
quarterback. Drew
right.
was the one.
Absolutely. So you're always in good hands if you got to Bingham on the field.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll come back right after the break and we'll take a look at the week ahead. All right, welcome back. All right, Coach, we're looking ahead. Obviously, we're off to an 0-1 start, but now we get to come back home. We don't have to travel 3 hours. You guys play Dulles this week on Friday night. What are you expecting?
They're kind of hard to find a rhyme or reason for what they do a lot of times. I think that they're going to try and quick game us, play sideline to sideline offensively. Defensively, they kind of mix up their fronts a little bit. They got great players on both sides of the ball. Number one for the offense, he can go. And so we'll be very ready for jailbreak screen, quick screens, things of that nature, see if they can get us on perimeter. They got a Power 5 nose guard, number 99 on their defense that, Brooks Scott's going to have all he wants, and so be physical up front. But overall, I think it goes back to the 3 things I talked about earlier, right? Effort, alignment, and assignment. I think that we're in a good position to where if we can take care of those 3 things, we can be successful. And that's a good situation to be in, to where we don't have to worry about what they do. It's about what we have to do. And I think that's a good situation to be in.
Okay. And so what would be the biggest improvement that you want to see? Because obviously I think probably the alarming thing was just the 67 yards, under 2
Right.
yards a carry.
Sure.
Obviously that would open up the passing game.
I think the biggest 3 things I would want to see is, first of all, offensively, I want I want to be more physical in our run blocking scheme across the 5-man front. I mean, that's just, you got to all be working together at all times if we want to establish a run game, and that's a necessity. I think defensively we had a lot of missed tackles, about 21 in total, and so we got to bring that number down. And that's just about, driving your feet, squeezing the bag and running through. And then special teams wise, we got to be more effective in our lanes, right? We had a punt return for a touchdown against Bastrop, and so those are some things that we got to eliminate, right? We talk about, a lot of the time people talk about special teams and it's just, put to the side, but special teams is another way to score in all facets. And so I think that, we've done a really good job this week of hammering home special teams as well.
Yeah. Last question, because obviously this is going to be a special moment. You ran out on the field as a player out here.
Sure.
How's it going to feel to be coming out to Memorial Stadium as the head coach here and be the first time in front of the home fans?
Right. I mean, it's just really cool. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I'm so in it now. I sometimes I forget to stop and smell the roses. But I mean, I think that being here, the last time that I came, where I wasn't playing against at this field was when my brother was playing in 2013, and just being able to enjoy the game from the Alvin side of the world. And so, real excited, to be out there and compete.
All right. Well, we will look forward to that. So you better join us here at Memorial Stadium this Friday as they take on Dulles. And remember, you got to say it.
Jacket pride never dies.
There it is. All right. Have a great week.